Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for coming. We are not going to belabor this anymore. My name is Deborah Tuff, Gwinnett County spokeswoman. How this will go, you'll hear from our chairwoman, Nicole Love Hendrickson, followed by our community services director, Lindsay Jorstad. From there, we will open the floor for questions, 5 to 7 minutes. And afterwards, if reporters would like to do pull-asides, one-on-ones, you're welcome to do that with either official up here as well as any of the directors. I see our Chief Cleo Atwater from the Gwinnett County Sheriff's Office in the back. So with that said, I'll open the floor to Chairwoman Hendrickson.
All right, thank you, Deb. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. So we want to share information in light of the current realities that our residents are facing right now. 1 in 7 Georgians face food insecurity, and right now, many of our Gwinnett families are bracing for the impact of disruptions to federal nutrition programs and assistance programs. When these service suspensions go into effect tomorrow, more than 90,000 Gwinnettians who rely on SNAP will temporarily lose access to this life-saving safety net. That's in addition to the federal employees who have been going without pay. These are immediate pressing needs that cannot be ignored, and the demand for local resources will only increase as the federal shutdown continues. So in response, I've asked our team to dig deep and find every way possible to stretch local resources to help those most affected, and they stepped up. We've identified $250,000 in funding that will redirect to support to our local co-ops across the county. And using our existing contracts, we'll purchase high-demand food items, hygiene items, and essentials like soup, flour, peanut butter, dish detergent, and trash bags, and more. These items will be distributed to 6 trusted partners that collectively serve all of Gwinnett County's zip codes. And they include the Lawrenceville Co-op, the Lilburn Co-op, the Duluth Co-op, North Gwinnett Co-op, Southeast Gwinnett Co-op, and Neighborhood Cooperative Ministries in Norcross. These co-ops have long been on the front lines, providing not only food, but also wraparound services from employment and housing support to financial counseling and personal care items. In addition to this budget allocation, we are also ramping up county food distributions beginning Tuesday at Lenora Park. And on Thursday, Sheriff Kibo Taylor will host his signature Thanksgiving food giveaway from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds. And I see that we also have Chief Cleo Atwater, who is also here and can speak more about that event. Now, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Lindsay Jorstad to share more details about our food security efforts. So please help me welcome our Community Services Director, Lindsay Jorstad.
Thank you, Chairwoman Hendrickson, and good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank our county leadership, our employees, our community partners, and our many volunteers who work every single day to make sure Gwinnett residents have access to food and essential services. I'm here to share more details about the way we're leveraging our resources to support our community. In accordance with guidance from our law department, we'll establish a $0 distribution agreement with the 6 identified cooperative ministries Chairwoman Hendrickson mentioned. Once our contracted vendors deliver items to a central county site, employee and volunteer teams will divide the orders equally and transport the goods directly to the 6 partner locations in Beaufort, Duluth, Grayson, Lawrenceville, Lilburn, and Norcross. This coordinated approach ensures that our community partners can continue serving families through the holidays and beyond, while also absorbing new families and individuals who need help. This new effort builds on 5 years' worth of food-related initiatives the county has engaged in with community partners. One partnership I'd like to bring attention to is with the Atlanta Community Food Bank through our mobile food distribution program, which brings food directly to residents where they live, work, and gather. Our program is built around 3 goals: to bring food to people where they are, to meet them with dignity, and to connect them with services they need to thrive. This year alone, we've hosted 42 mobile food distributions, providing more than 64,000 residents with over 334,000 meals. Since 2020, together we have held 323 food distributions across Gwinnett, served more than 430,000 residents in over 103,000 households, and we've distributed 2.8 million pounds of food. That's nearly 2.3 million meals. But these efforts go far beyond food. Our food distributions have become gateways to wraparound services that help families stabilize and rebuild. Fire and emergency services teams are on site offering free home safety education and smoke detector installations. One of these smoke detectors later saved an entire family. Water Resources Assistance Program, or WRAP, helps families repair plumbing and install water-saving fixtures. And our One Stop for Help community navigators connect residents on the spot to housing, healthcare, and employment resources. What began as food distribution has grown into connection distribution, a nationally recognized model of community service and a reflection of what leadership in action truly looks like. We invite our community to join us because every donation, every hour volunteered, and every act of kindness makes a difference. Our upcoming free mobile food distributions will take place November 4th at Lenora Park in Snellville, November 18th at Bryson Park in Lilburn, December 9th at Rock Springs Park in Lawrenceville, and December 16th at Shorty Howe Park in Duluth, all beginning at 3 p.m. and running while supplies last. Just this week, this past Tuesday, at Best Friend Park in Norcross, we served 701 households, our highest turnout this year. We sincerely thank the Atlanta Community Food Bank for their ongoing support in the Gwinnett community. For residents in need of food assistance or any type of general assistance, One Stop for Help community navigators are available 24/7 at 770-822-8850, and the Atlanta Community Food Bank's food pantry map at acfb.org can help locate nearby pantries. As we enter the holiday season, our teams will provide more than 6,750 meals to students in our county-operated after-school programs so that no child goes hungry during school breaks. And for our older adults, Gwinnett's Health and Human Services Division offers a home-delivered meal program for homebound, ill, or incapacitated seniors age 60 and older. Senior participants receive a 5-day supply of nutritious frozen meals delivered weekly by staff and volunteers. For more information, residents can call 678-377-4150. Before I step away, I want to remind us all that behind every statistic and number I shared is a story. It is a parent skipping dinner so their children can eat. It is a senior choosing between groceries and medicine or feeding their animal companion, and a working adult balancing care for both children and aging parents. These stories remind us that hunger isn't hopeless, it's solvable. So together, we're not just distributing food, we're delivering hope, dignity, and connection, one meal and one neighbor at a time. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to Chairwoman Hendrickson.
Thank you, Lindsay, and thank your team for your quick, compassionate response to this urgent need. Before we close, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, we really want to issue a heartfelt plea, because we are doing our part. If you are able, please help us stock the shelves and keep them stocked. Match the county's efforts to deliver on the services and meet the need. We're setting up collection sites across the county for residents who can donate high-demand items, and we challenge our cities, our businesses, and our community partners to do the same. For details, contact Lindsay's team at 770-822-8833 or email communityservices@gwinnettcounty.com. We'll also share information at gwinnettcounty.com and our social media at GwinnettGov. Also, as the need continues to evolve, the county will be evaluating our existing resources to ensure that we're standing in the gap and that we're understanding where the needs need to be addressed. If you can't donate food or funds, please consider donating your time. Volunteers are needed at co-ops and at upcoming distribution events. County employees will also be joining these efforts through internal food drives and volunteer opportunities. So in closing, we know that no single organization can solve food insecurity alone, but together we can make a difference, and that's why we are asking our entire community to step up and help fill in the gap during this time of need. So with that, I thank you all for joining us. I thank everybody who has contributed to lead the charge in supporting a well-fed, healthy, and supported community, and we appreciate everyone who is joining us on this mission. Even the smallest donation can make a huge difference and impact for our neighbors in need. Thank you very much, and with that, we will now open it up for questions.
Chairwoman, speaking with some of the co-ops, I know they're expecting as many as 300, possibly additional people just on Monday. How far is this money going to ever go to meet that kind of demand if you multiply that by 6?
So you can factor $250,000 investments divided across 6 co-ops, and we are going to be purchasing the food and making sure that that is divided among the 6 cooperative ministries equally and evenly. So as long as the resources go, they also have many of the local communities have been donating to a lot of those cooperative ministries. So really, this is just to supplement what the donations they already have.
Do you think it'll be enough to get you through November?
We don't know. This is an ever-evolving challenge that we're seeing, and we hope that the state, what I will say is that we hope that the federal government can come to the table and negotiate and open these services back up. But in the meantime, we're filling in the gap where we can. I don't know how far the funds or the food will stretch, which is why we're asking the community to pour in and provide support where necessary. We're asking our cities to step up. We're asking other community partners to step up. We're asking our residents to step up. Our entire employee base, we have 6,000 employees. We're going to have food collection sites at all of our various facilities around the county, and we are going to fill in the gap where it's needed. I don't know how far it's going to go, but we're doing our part to meet the need, and this is Gwinnett County's effort, and if there are other entities that wish to match what we're doing, this is our call to action.
How serious is the urgency of this matter? My understanding, there's like 1.4 million Georgians. So it's not just Gwinnett, it's across the entire state. A lot of people that are going to lose SNAP benefits. And as a result of that, at least what we've seen, and you may have seen this in Gwinnett, these places are being flooded now with more and more people that are showing up knowing that these benefits go away. So talk about the urgency of people in the community stepping up to help donate and being able to get these funds and items to these co-ops quickly.
Yeah, we are in a crisis situation right now. We've already experienced food insecurity even before the furloughs, even before the suspension of SNAP benefits. So the dire urgency is now, and it's severe. And many of the residents across the county, across the state, are really pouring in to support local nonprofit organizations, food cooperative ministries, food banks, and a lot of our food banks are seeing more numbers than they've ever seen. And it's a very urgent issue. It's one that requires an urgent response. This is, I would say, a state of emergency as it relates to food insecurity. And I'm thankful for the partners in the community organizations that are stepping up to fill in the gap. We're doing our part, as I've mentioned. I don't know how far the resources will go and will extend to, but we're going to continue to evaluate the need and evaluate this challenge as it continues to evolve. And we'll work with all of our providers, we'll work with our community partners, and continue to evaluate what resources we have to fill the gap as well.
Can you talk about where the 250,000 is coming from?
Yeah, so there are multiple sources of funding. During the summer meals program, we've had some additional funds that were left over, and rather than let that roll over into next year, we wanted to make sure that we leverage those funds to fill a need right now. And there are also other local sources that we've looked at internally through our budget.
There are some folks in the AAPI community, especially the immigrants, are afraid to come to the food bank because of the ICE rate. Can you comment about that?
Well, what I can say is that as a diverse county and as we continue to show our support for our various immigrant communities, we have provided support to many of the nonprofit organizations and some of those culturally responsive organizations that are providing resources to immigrant communities. But I will say that Gwinnett County is here to help. We are here to provide support to those in need, and I recognize that there may be a fear for those who may or may not be experiencing any immigration issues, but that is really not our role right now. Our role is to make sure that we can get the food and resources to the community food banks and allow those entities to handle best how to deal with that population and how to deal with our residents who are in need.
First round of SNAP would go out on November 5th. Do you think it's fair to say that it'll be in place before then, so there'll be no days missing?
Can you repeat that question again so I understand?
First round would go out on November 5th. Do you think there'll be any days missing, or will the funding be in place by the 5th so that there's no gap for people who wouldn't be receiving those SNAP benefits on the 5th?
You know, that is a great question for the state partners to answer. I really can't speak specifically to when the SNAP benefits will be reinstituted. All I know is that we're going to launch what we can with the resources that we have and deploy all of these resources to the 6 cooperative ministries that we are working with and that we've identified that can cover all of the zip codes within the county. And all residents, no matter what zip code they in, can go to any one of those 6 cooperative ministries and receive food, regardless if they have the SNAP benefits or not, because this is really addressing just the broader effort of those who are facing food insecurity. Because again, we have a population of federal workers who are furloughed as well. And the goal is to do our part to fill in the gap, to ensure that the shelves are stocked when the demand arises and when the food co-ops receive a high volume of residents that are going to these sites, that they can deliver and provide those resources as needed. Any other questions? All right. Well, Lindsay, do you have anything else to add? All right. Well, with that, I appreciate everyone for coming out. Again, this is a collective effort, and I can't emphasize enough that this really takes all hands on deck, and we are challenging our community, our cities, our community partners to step up and assist with addressing this food insecurity issue in our community to really help our neighbors in need. So thank you again.